Okay, this is Mark Herman, and we are now into episode 4. So, in the first scenario, beginning of the war, it's, government's got this abbreviated thing going on because all the Japanese preparations already built into the scenario. So basically, after you do activation, you're moving on into the offensive contact phase. Now, what happens in Pacific War is there is a sort of process where the forces leave port and go on, and then depending on the intelligence condition, which is the genesis of the Empire of the Sun intelligence system comes from this game back in 1985. This scenario starts, for a fact it's going to start with surprise attack. And the Allied airplanes are basically all on the ground, but you do get to search, but you can only search out to 2 hexes, which is 200 miles, because they weren't, and so what's happening is that the Japanese forces, and are converging on their targets. And so I conducted the contact phase. Let me sort of show you where things ended up. So over here you have the Mindanao invasion force, which is just off the coast of Mindanao. Over here you have the force out of Okinawa that's going to invade southern Luzon. Over here you have the Lingayen Gulf, I think that's how you pronounce it, invasion force. And you'll note that it's flipped over. The other one you'll see, but on the back side of the counter, a task force looks like this. I guess that's in focus. And when it gets detected, it looks like that. So these guys have been detected by patrol planes out of Clark Airfield, which is 2 hexes right there. And then simultaneously with that, this British long-range reconnaissance aircraft saw the Kota Baru invasion. And by the way, that is historically exactly where they were seen. Just off the coast at night, these guys show up, and so there they are. And so, and then of course, this task force is now right off the coast of Brunei. These are the battleships out of Formosa. And so right now you are at the very moment that the war is about to start. And that's how that works. Now, what'll happen now is the game is going to, because it's a surprise attack and the detection, that ends the contact phase. And that contact phase consume 3 days. Yeah, this contact phase, which was 8 hexes, consumed 3 days of the 14 days. So we have 11 days more of combat to go, which is really 5 battle cycles. So, we're going to now what's happening is the speed of operations is going to rapidly increase. So whereas now the ships have been moving around 12.5 knots, and this is all my designer's notes, now things are going to start going from a 1 day 12.5 knot kind of speed over 300 miles, at 12.5 knots, which is 300 miles. Now we're going to be moving into 6 and 8 hour cycles with night and day cycles and all this kind of stuff. And of course, the first thing that will happen in the contact phase is we're going to figure out what the lighting conditions are, and the Japanese will choose to, because of Pearl Harbor, we're going to choose the day AM, and if we can force that. You get to do that once per operation. You can pick what time of day the thing starts, or later on you can kind of move it a little bit once during the operation if you're operation player. But right now we want to make sure that we don't want to have a nighttime problem with hitting Pearl Harbor, and so we're gonna just we're gonna start with a day AM kind of turn, and then it'll be advantage determination is automatic in this particular scenario. That's a special rule. Normally you'd roll dice, and the operation player has some advantages, but ultimately, and this is the opening of the war. Then there's advantage movement, where all these task forces will close on their objectives. And then there's going to be air missions, and that's when all the bombing and that's when Pearl Harbor is going to happen. So that's kind of how things are going to evolve. What I will do is I will probably just finish this up, and then I will show you Pearl Harbor, which will give you a little bit of a sense of the combat system.